Hi everybody, it's Ben from HiyGroup here today with our third episode of the Creative Journey, and we've got Will Killen. He's a good friend of mine who's a musician, producer, photographer, videographer. He kind of just jack of all trades. He's also got a studio called Evoke, which, as you can see from here, is just a lovely place to create and make music. Does everything. They also do photography as well. The quality of work is just outstanding. So we're going to have a nice conversation with him, talking about what he's doing, how he's got to where he is now, and just understanding his entire journey, really, like we've done with the other two. I'll put all of the links to his information in the description. Enjoy. It's about 45 minutes, and hopefully you can take a lot out of it. Thank you.
So I'll do an intro, but essentially I just kind of want to know your story. So, I've known you anyway for quite a while, went to school together. Obviously a year older than me at school, but just to know how you've gone from living in Swad and then going into university, and now you got your own studio, you got your own thing going on. You basically earn a living being a creative. I'd quite like to know how that has come to fruition, and so yeah, I'll jump in at any point as well and ask as I go.
Okay, so shall I just start from the start?
Yeah, let's go from the start.
So from the start was probably Burton College, which I did music technology for 3 years. Yeah, that was.
How did you find that?
That was fun. It was nice to jump into like an area that I hadn't actually really delved that much into. I played guitar and stuff, obviously. Well, not obviously, but I played obviously to you. Played guitar and was interested in music. I knew I wanted to do something creative, and a normal job from the very get-go was like, I can't do something like that.
Yeah.
So
why did you choose to go down like the music production rather than like music performance? Did you just or did you just feel like it was a nicer route for you?
It felt like a more realistic route. There's millions of jobs in the music industry as opposed to just being an artist, which is funny now. Now I'm sort of doing I'm sort of doing both, but like one can't exist without the other at like early stages in your career. Like most artists, like even in the mid-level, not most, but a lot of them still have other jobs and stuff. And you hear about like guys in bands, like big bands that still work in the chippy or something like that.
Because it's surprising how this is something I know. So there's it's surprising how little, especially now with like Spotify and all these streaming services, because you get paid. It really isn't a lot for each view that you get. And that you do often see a lot of especially in the music world, a lot of the people who make a decent living who aren't famous are the people who have studios and are recording, because it's I guess it's the income is easier to quantify almost, and you can just do a an artist world. So that makes sense.
Yeah, touching on the Spotify thing, like you don't get that much money, but like you can't just think of that as your only income as a musician anyway. Like there's, even from just the artist side, there's so many different pools of income, whether it like be actively like searching for sync opportunities to get your tunes on adverts or TV or whatever. Like that's where the money is, in advertising and stuff like that, as with all industries, advertising. People pay through the nose. So that, and then obviously like the live side and playing shows. It's not like Spotify will ever be someone's wage really, but to go back on with the chronological order, 3 years doing music tech, which was fun. Then I went to Leeds Beckett University for another 3 years doing music production, where I actually abandoned the idea of performing even more so, and I got really into like film sound.
Yeah, I remember you saying actually, because I remember, you making these little. I mean, you had to do it as part of your course, didn't you? I think. But then did you kind of like fall in love with the idea of using sound to go along with like a visual element of like a film or something?
Yeah, it was all of that really. So I actually ended up specializing in like sound design and like Foley and stuff for film and game and stuff like that. And that's what I ended up doing for a little bit after my undergraduate degree.
Yeah.
Which was a strange route. It was actually just one of the modules in second year, I think it was. And then me and a couple of friends, we were like, wow, this is really fun. Like we should. So we ended up all doing our final projects on that. And my good friend Jasper actually took that up as his main route, and has been in London since graduating.
Oh, no way. So that's what he.
Yeah.
He's saying he went to London, but is that what he's ended up getting a job in, sort of following
Yeah.
that?
Yeah. Foley, he jumped straight on it. It was actually from a guest lecture.
Who was that with?
A guy called Simon. I can't remember his last name. I don't think I ever knew it. But Simon, he worked at Halo production house in London, which does all like big films, like just massive films. So that shows the benefit of like sticking around and making an impression on someone who comes and does a guest lecture and getting their contact and poking the bear until
they give you the honey or
until
whatever.
they let you in. Or
that's cool. Yeah. I didn't realize, because I can remember it was part of you did the Kung Fu Panda.
Yeah.
Was that like one of your final assessments? Wasn't it your final assignments?
Yeah.
Which was amazing. And I remember you saying that Jasper, he did a lot of the voiceover and the helping with that.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that he ended up working at Halo.
Yeah.
Massive.
Ace. Yeah. We had loads of fun doing that sort of stuff, and that's a good little takeaway of like how you can make something at uni beneficial to a job prospect. Like I did a scene from Kung Fu Panda and a scene from Interstellar, and Jasper did like a scene from Lord of the Rings or Smaug or whatever, like one of the most awesome scenes ever. And that and then showing that to someone in industry will actually make them pay attention, as opposed to like doing something that they've got no knowledge of, like recreating something that's already been done, but doing it really cool and different.
Yeah, and
get you more attention. Yeah, exactly.
Adding your own sort of element to it. And that's because I guess that's a nice step into sort of building your portfolio as well. Even though it's part of a uni course and you're doing it in the classroom, it's still that. I mean, whilst you're at uni doing that, did you try and get any things on your portfolio that were outside of uni? Did you try and do any other little bits?
That was maybe a mistake. I mean, it all worked out in the end, so maybe it wasn't a mistake. But at the time, I was so into doing well at uni that I wasn't seeking anything outside for those 3 years at undergrad. So I was kind of left, when you get to the edge of the cliff, as everyone says after uni, I was really like stood on the edge of the cliff thinking like, I've not lined anything up here.
Yeah.
So definitely some good advice would be to not do that and always have in mind, what am I doing in 5 years time? How can I get there?
Yeah, for sure. But like you said, I mean, even though some people will want to, be really proactive in having the next step and having job prospects and connections outside of work, even though you didn't necessarily do that, by focusing on your university degree more so.
On the craft. Yeah.
Then you ended up being able to go out into the world, maybe a bit more frantically, but you went out and been able to take all those skills. And I mean, look at where you are now. Like you do this full time. You've got so many little different pockets of things that you do, which I want to get on. So that's cool.
So from that, I did see the edge of the cliff, and then I frantically decided to do a master's degree to try and wade down the cliff. And so I did a master's in music for the moving image, so basically film scoring and game scoring and stuff like that. And I'd learnt my lesson, and throughout the whole of that, like everything I did was for for like external clients. It was really good that my my teachers like encouraged that, and they were like, yeah, just that's what you want to be doing. Like, just make the assessments work for whatever they do, and I'll just mark whatever client work you've done, sort of thing.
So how yeah, go on. Sorry.
So yeah, I was very lucky in the sense that I had a very good teacher that understood that. I imagine most do, but I was very much like, I'm not seeing the edge of the cliff again. I'm going to get some client work, and if it doesn't work out, then.
How did you go about getting that? So that was I guess whilst you're at uni, you didn't have any clients externally to uni.
No.
But then when you went into your masters, so how did you make the transition to still be studying, but then actually go out getting clients to using your modules?
Got you. So at the time, I used a site called Upwork.
Yeah. Which
is like a freelancer site, which I don't think is very good now, probably compared to a lot of the others, like Fiverr, for example, and like there's some other really good ones. But it's just like there's some sites out there that like you just put up your gig, as it were. Like, so one of my gigs was like, do your trailer sound design or something, and then people just find you and you just portray yourself well with a good portfolio and sometimes you do have to do free stuff at the beginning to get portfolio, but once you're at the point where you're like, no, my portfolio is good now, then do not do anything for free, because then people won't value you and you won't value yourself.
Exactly. That's when the imposter syndrome starts to come into play.
Yeah, 100%.
You need to know, like there was something that someone was saying. It's like, if the work takes 1 hour, doesn't mean you're just going to price for an hour. It's like you've had however many years of skills building up to that.
Yeah.
You have to do it in that 1 hour, and that's how you
40 grand debt.
That's good. Do you remember your first? Can you remember that first client and what you had to do for it?
Maybe it was a score for like a strange like conceptual art thing that was going to be like shown at like an art gallery. It was like, so it was just like a looping like 30 seconds of like weird score. It was really cool though.
Score as in just a piece of music.
Just music that like loops around back on itself for like an art gallery.
Yeah,
which is really fun.
Derivative.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, and I guess did that, and that was that paid, that one?
Yeah, that was on Upwork, and then from that, I got quite a few more from that same person. It's like once you make a connection and you like show that you're professional, then people obviously want to work with you. It is literally, as I'm sure you know, who you know. You need to have like the basics, but it's mostly who you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Making the most of opportunities when they arise.
But that's it. It's a lot of the time, yeah, if someone opens a door for you, that it helps get you through, but you still got to close that door. You still got to actually work, and
that's the thing.
So it's good because, you know, a lot of people either miss an opportunity or they can see that they waste an opportunity if you don't put the effort in. But I think it is like, I mean, over the time I've known you at Leeds, your sort of circle of people that you know, especially in Leeds, has just grown exponentially. And I think that's helped you get to where you are.
100%. Who you surround yourself with.
Anyway, yeah, exactly. It's like
is who you are or who you become.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's super important, obviously.
So then after uni, after you did your masters, you got you built up some clients and some connections. Then how did you scale down that cliff after finishing your masters? And what did you do next?
So just kept on building with the film work, and actually like diversifying a little bit more into the classic music production role and stuff like that, doing some mixing here and there for people, all still through Upwork, I think, and like just word of mouth and putting a website together. and just like putting yourself out there actively. Like no one is going to knock on your door and give you work.
Yeah.
Like you, at least not at first anyway. So yeah, you do have to just knock down doors and be nice and friendly and professional, and you will rise to the top.
Rise above masses.
Yeah.
Oh, that's excellent. Yeah, no, I mean it's awesome to see as well, because like I said, it's challenge. I can imagine it's really difficult being at uni and then trying to run your own freelance business at the same time. That's what a lot of people do, whereas some people maybe what you're doing, where you slowly move up to that, and then by the time you've left uni, you've got a good circle of people, you know what you're doing, your portfolio is built up, and you can kind of, like you said, then as long as you just, it's about staying proactive in the situation and being consistent in your approach with what you're doing.
Yeah, 100%.
I think consistency is a massive thing. I think a lot of people tend. I'm sometimes quite viable to this. Is where I pick something up for a little bit. If I don't see results straight away, I then put it down and move on to something else. But if you just keep grinding away, you then get an opportunity, and it's like almost everything starts to ramp up quite dramatically.
It's just having good habits and
for sure,
allowing yourself time to improve.
Yeah,
like you say, it's like exercise. Like you go to the gym 5 times, but not burning yourself out as well. That might be a good analogy. Where you when you start on a gym run, you're like going 5 times a week, and it's all super exciting, and you make some progress. But you set yourself up for failure, because you can't go 5 times a week forever. So you'll go 3, and then you'll get sad, and then you're like, oh, I'm not into this anymore, and then just quit it altogether.
Yeah, exactly. You need to go once or twice a week, and then once you get to that, and then build. Yeah, exactly. It's building up. It's having the right approach.
Consistency is the key.
Yeah.
But yeah, so after that course as well, I had to shamefully have a normal job for a little bit. I had a 18-hour-a-week part-time job at a care home for about 9 months, I think.
Yeah.
And just basically sustaining myself, trying to get the balance of like client work and like the care home, like bought that all together for me to pay all my bills. Like while I built up all my portfolio work, it got to a point where I was like, all right, I can sack off the care home thing now. And that's a really big step that I think a lot of people don't take. Like when the scales are tipping, and when they can see that they can jump off now, but like are scared to take the leap. But to go further, you have to jump off, because otherwise you never, like, that's 18 hours a week I can't fill with the stuff that I could be filling it, which is what I want to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And by having a part-time job, like not going out and getting something that's 40 hours a week and twice or 3 times the money, which will then mean that your creative side just gets filtered out. And I think a lot of people do that. They want to keep the creative energy going. They get a full-time job, and then you're working 40 hours a week, and you can't put another 40 hours a week unless you're Elon Musk or just insanely determined to drive that. And I like the analogy of using the scale. Like you said, it's by having a part-time job to keep your finances going and keeping that side in check.
Yeah,
you can keep building it up. And by doing it in 9 months, by only having a job working for somebody else for 9 months, and and that was within the space of 4 or 5 years after leaving uni. Well, what is it now? How long have you been out of uni? How long did you graduate?
Maybe about that. Yeah, 4 or 5.
So out of that, only 9 months has been working for somebody else.
Yeah,
it's pretty good.
We're getting there. We're getting there.
Yeah, it's good, man.
And I was going to say, in that time, that weirdly, that's when I started the whole, while having that job, started the whole singer-songwriter thing, and like learning to sing and play piano, etc.
Just like you did a full circle almost.
Yeah, for real. I like got all the skills, and then I came back to it.
Yeah. Start playing guitar, because I remember we used to play it in your garage. Like, and then you went off and did the music production because there was a more viable and there's more options within it.
Yeah.
And then almost once you'd learned all that sort of stuff, you came back round to the music side, and now, I mean, that's a decent part of your income, I imagine, in terms of the live gigs that you used to do, but also your singles are smashing it on social media and YouTube and Spotify and everything else. It's
somehow very grateful for that, but that is probably like half of my income, I guess, which is great, and it allows yourself. I always think of it as just put all that money goes straight back into making more. I think I see it as just reinvesting into the project, because you got to put bets on yourself, really, with everything.
Yeah.
Even with like a new piece of gear, if we need to make the studio, I'm like, would I put this bet on that I'd make it back and more if I bought it, for example? And it's
a good way of thinking.
It is, yeah. You got to put a bet on yourself. It's in your hands.
Absolutely. And then, so you did all of that, and then you kind of set up like Evoke.
Yeah.
So you did see what came first, Evoke or photography? Because that was a bit of a tangent.
Yeah, photography was a fun one. Photography is something I'd always. I feel like I had an eye for it. And then just my friend was selling his camera. I was actually going on a trip to Vietnam to celebrate leaving my care home job. I went on a month's trip to Vietnam, and I bought the camera for that secondhand, just absolute piece of junk, really. And then came back. I made a sort of plan out there. It was a great time to think and reassess, and how am I going to sort out all this thing, which is super important to have these plans and actually stick to them. So my plan was with photography, right, I'm going to go back, going to learn how to use this bloody camera. I'm going to do 5 free shoots and pick them, like who I want to give shoots to, who I think it will benefit my portfolio. Did them, put them all together, put them on a site, then boom. Set up my Instagram, and I just sort of left it there, and every now and again, I could definitely be more proactive with it now, even still. But what I've got, like I was saying earlier, is about how you present yourself and the portfolio that you've got, and how, especially with photography and with music, with anything, I imagine, is how likable you are. Does someone want to come and be vulnerable in front of a camera to someone who doesn't seem friendly online? It was like seems too cool for their own good. So
exactly, because you wouldn't, would you? Sometimes the best pictures that you get are the most like emotional in whatever the situation is, and
how vulnerable. It's all in the model. It's all in the photographer, I guess, in making it a comfortable environment. But it's how vulnerable and open the model is to looking into the lens with honesty and not feeling stiff, feeling comfortable. So that was a really fun one to navigate. About.
It's cool, and like I said, I think although it's in like your catalogue of things that you can do, I feel like you purposely not put it high up in the priority because the music and the other bits are. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong in saying that, but I think you prioritize quite well. You'd like developing all these skills and things that you enjoy, and it's because there's only so many days in the week and only so many hours in a day. You've got to focus on what's important right now and why you want to do it. Like I said, and then if you can open up other doors for yourself, so if people come to you and say, within your network,
that's the thing. The door's open.
Then it's not like something you have to go and learn. You've already put the effort in to learn it, and you can just kind of wait there and keep doing what you want to do in the music side, and then maybe every now and again, and that's just generating another area of revenue for you to, keep out of working for somebody else.
100%. That's ironically, really, photography is by far the most paying job. Like time-wise as well. Like sometimes, so like I could produce a track for someone from start to finish, and if say for a project at the moment that I'm doing, I'm charging them £250 to do tracks from start to finish. Basically, that takes like a couple months, probably a lot of recording sessions. But then with a photography shoot, my half day rate I think is £200. In half a day, then I just edit them in the second half of the day and send them over, and that's
a day's work for £200.
That's the thing.
That's like what, 52 grand a year if you did that every day.
It's massive. But that all, I live like I don't have much. I don't need a lot, so all of it just goes into a pot to put on making more things or buying more gear, so the things that I'm doing can get better, or like get a new camera lens or etc.
Didn't you recently buy is it a gimbal?
Yeah.
One? Yeah.
So now I can shoot. Yeah, that was another bet that I put on myself when I was really struggling for money at the time, and I was like, I literally did see it like I was explaining earlier. I was like, I bet I can get some video work, end up and charge more, because obviously video work is harder, and make this back and be fine. And now I've done quite a few music videos, loads of live sessions. Earned that about 10. Well, you earn it. It's only like £400 for the gimbal or something. So you earn it back after like 2 shoots.
Yeah. So you smashed it then. So yeah, I really like that way of thinking, because I think a lot of people nowadays, they'll just go out and buy something for the sake of it. Like they'll go and buy a tracksuit for 150, 200 quid or something, and which gives absolutely no benefits really.
Yeah, there's no back. There's no give back.
But then for you to sit down and look at every purchase, every like reasonably large purchase when it comes to something like that, and understanding the return on investment essentially.
Yeah, 100%.
And like picking the things that you're gonna want to do is, it's really cool. It's nice. It's just great. It's a good way of thinking. I think more people should think like it, to be honest, and you probably can get further.
Yeah, and it's a shame. It's a shame. Like it's an issue I actually see with like a lot of artists. Like, so when people come and get in touch and stuff, or like, let's do a hypothetical. That's actually not hypothetical. People get in touch and want like a shoot, and then you tell them how much it is, and then they'll like get cold feet or whatever, or get in touch and like want a track doing or something, and it'll be too much for them, when in reality it's not too much. Everything I do is like very reasonable for what people get, but it's just them being actually scared that they're not gonna get that back. They don't believe in themselves or the song or their project that it's gonna get back. They don't see that 2 years down the line. Return on investment.
And do you think sometimes? Do you think it is that? I mean, so when I spoke to Danny on another call, he was, and with other people anyway, they're talking about how I think some people come to you, "Oh, do us a photography shoot," and it's like 500 quid, and I'm like, that's too expensive. But I don't think a lot of people understand some of the process that it goes into, not only to do that initial project right there and then, but how you've got throughout the years to get to that quality and that way of working.
It's doing something that is valuable. It's like a valuable task. Like that's why people like, if I'm not knocking really, but like in less skilled jobs, say you work at a shop or something.
Yeah.
Like it's not a valuable skill. Like someone's not gone to uni and paid 40 grand to do that.
Yeah.
So like these jobs should be high paid.
Yeah. And I think it's and again, it's sometimes it's the way you present yourself, isn't it? It's you could be the best photographer in the world, charging absolutely reasonable prices, but if you're not friendly and not approachable and don't have those because those general people skills that someone who just works in a shop actually might really have.
Yeah, 100%.
Kind of got to have both sides of the coin to succeed, and that's why it's interesting to hear about your story about how going to uni is really, really good. But again, people have could be the best artist in the world. With the wrong approach, the wrong mindset, they're not going to get anywhere.
Yeah.
Versus somebody who's got very limited skills, if they've got a really good approach and outlook in life, they can do very well. It's not necessarily about the card, the hand you've been dealt. It's about how you play it. It's like poker.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
So, talk to me about Evoke as well. So
yeah. So Evoke began maybe a year and a half ago. And so that was after I'd come back from Vietnam. And then, hello. Yeah, just come and do your thing, bro. And it was with this fucking loser. You can cut this section.
Yeah. No. Who is it?
It's me.
That's it.
Sorry.
That's all right. Hang on a minute.
We'll do like a title card in this section.
Yeah. I'll just. Okay, that's fine. I'll just wrote a note down so we know where to cut it. Yeah. Okay. So Evoke then. So what is it? So you started about a year and a half ago.
Yeah. So we started a year and a half ago ish. This was from. It started as a rehearsal space, a rehearsal room that my drummer, Tom Pattinson, he owned with 3 friends. It wasn't called anything. And then and we used to rehearse there, obviously, for our live shows and stuff. And then one of his friends dropped out, which I obviously caught wind of this and was like, so at the time it was this one room shaped like an L, and I was like, well, if we make this into a studio and actually want to start a business around this room, then I'm down to join and replace the other person, to which they all were. They all had other jobs and stuff as well, so it wasn't life dependent for them.
Yeah.
Whereas for me, this was what I was going to do. So I was very lucky that those guys allowed me in and to change their space, even though it was for the better. I hope objectively.
I mean, I've seen it. It's beautiful. I imagine absolutely sound with it.
The old one.
Of course, that was the
old one.
It ended up getting flooded, didn't it?
Yeah. So
that's sad.
So it was that one. So yeah, we did all the renovations, made it into a proper studio instead of just a room. Like raised one of the floors, built a partition wall, learnt on the job. No idea what we're doing, but me and my good friend Tom, who was the drummer, because Tom was loving it as well, got it done. And actually, I thought of the name totally serendipitously. The Bluetooth speaker they had there, like before I arrived, when you its actual name was Evoke. So when you saw it on your Bluetooth list, it's called Evoke, and I was like, that's a great name. I love that word.
Yeah.
And for what we're doing, which was eclectic to everything, I was struggling for a name for a long time. But the term Evoke obviously relates to feeling, and that relates to all art. And we didn't want to confine ourselves to we're thinking of like Grove Street Studios or something like that. Something like that puts you in a location and people think studio.
It's in the music, or if it's, but I guess because what you're doing, you've kind of tapped into every kind of channel of creativity, and that's why I guess Evoking, because in terms of that whole feeling side, it's like if you want photography, music, whatever it is, you can facilitate that, which is nice.
Our whole ethos is to make things that evoke emotion and work on powerful, interesting projects of any kind. So that name stuck, and it was Ace built a little bit of a community around it and headway. And then obviously it got flooded in February last year, which was awful. But like I've been saying, you may have got the impression I was like, well, I'm not going to stop.
Kept going, didn't you?
I'm just like, right, well, what's a very logical thinking? Right, how do we get back? It's like, oh, right, we could do a fundraiser. So put a fundraiser together and did all the things that you need to do to set something like that up. Shared it around, and luckily got raised $3,500.
Did it almost covered everything, didn't it, or thereabouts?
So it actually covered half of everything everyone lost, which is totally like flukily. We just like worked out all of our losses individually, which to everyone equated to $7,000 total. So we're just like, all right, everyone can get half paid back.
Yeah,
which is great. And even that wasn't just like, oh, set this up and send it to a few friends. I was like, right, let's get on radio shows. Got on BBC Leeds, did an interview with them. A couple of magazines, Baby Step magazine covered us. Aston Mikes did a feature for us. Excellent. It's all behind the scenes, sitting at a computer, making emails and reaching out to people.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't have done half as well if you don't have that attitude. And that's the attitude you got to have when you like release music or looking for clients, whatever. Yeah. Proactivity is the thing that you have to do and get used to doing.
It's the graph that nobody sees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The amount of time, the amount of hours. I did longer stints in coffee houses than the people that worked in there and outdo their shifts. Genuinely.
Right. Well. But like you said, it's that mentality, and that's why you'll keep this successful. Just keep going. I mean, like something you meant. I just want to mention it before I forget. Like, weren't you sat in a bar in Vietnam and your own song came on?
Oh yeah, that was a very surreal experience.
Like, I can't imagine being the other side of the globe and hearing your own song whilst you sat in a bar or a restaurant or something.
It wasn't even a bloody like a big city or anything. It was a really quaint little city on the coast, like a little town.
No way.
And it came on, and then I absolutely lost my shit. I was like, wow, I thought it was a joke, but that was a cool one. Yeah. So yeah, then Evoke got flooded, got the fundraiser, got the money back. I took it as an opportunity to expand it.
Yeah.
And was like, right, because initially it was in Brighouse, which was a 20-minute drive from Leeds. But now I had a say in the matter. Like, I was like, well, I'm moving it to Leeds. That's where all our clients are. That's where we're going to grow. And the other three didn't want to do that. They were comfortable with doing what they do. They just wanted it as a room still, which is fine. Because like I say, they've all got jobs and stuff like that. And I was like, well, cool. Well, I'm going to take with their permission, which thankfully they were like, yeah, of course you can. I'm going to take the name and find somewhere else in Leeds and put a new team together. To which now there's 5 of us, which is better because it's just more efficient, work spread around, obviously. More skills, more money in the project that we can all put in.
Mm-hmm.
And then I found a spot that was perfect, really, and got hold of it and got all the boys set up like a proposal for the business, how we'd operate and pros and cons, very objective, honest. All the guys that I asked said yes. So I was like, great, there's 5 of us, let's do it. And have been there.
It's doing pretty well as well. And like I said, what sort of areas of the creative space do you now cover?
Of content. Do you mean?
Yeah.
But we do everything, to be honest, which is actually like tough to kind of tough to sell, to convince someone that, oh yeah, I'm great at this, and I'm great at this, and I'm great at this.
Yeah.
It's almost bad that we don't have a speciality, but yeah, we just got to prove that with time, and so we do everything. Yeah, live videos, music videos, recording, mixing, photography, the whole shebang.
Everything. Anything you think of. Like you said, it can be quite hard if you've not got like a really niche product.
Yeah,
it can be difficult. But like you said, I think just over time, just keep building up the clients and keep building up the portfolio. And like the website looks really nice. And if it's cool with you, I'll share it on here. So
of course, yeah.
And
that's all just done with Squarespace as well, and like doing our own thing.
You don't need to, you could, for what you need it for, which is just promoting the services. You don't need to spend thousands of pounds on a really interactive website or something. You could just build something yourself and just spend a few hours here and there building it up, and probably achieve the exact same results.
That's what most freelancers need as well. Like you say, you don't need just an online business, like a business card, basically. That's where all your stuff is. A lot of people can get away with it just being Instagram, stuff like that, if the platform's used correctly. But we obviously needed a homepage for all of our things, which can't be shown very well on Instagram.
Yeah. And did you find? So you've got the Evoke website. Have you got your own website for?
No.
So
I've just got my own page on the Evoke website.
Oh, right, because it kind of houses everything anyway, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That's cool. Because it's a conversation we've had again with people. Is like, as a freelancer, do you need a website, and is it worth setting up even a company or doing it sole trade? And I guess it kind of depends on what the business is, what you're trying to do, and how invested you are in terms of time with that. So. Yeah. Any other bits you want to share? Maybe next steps. What projects or plans have you got over the next?
So I'm always looking at the bigger picture and like where it's going to end up. So at the moment, like we're trying to get another room in the building that we're in. Because one's becoming available, so we're like trying to expand. Because I know in 5 years' time we're going to want more rooms, so get this one now while we can. And once COVID chills out, we can once it takes a little seat, we can do like more group sessions and interactive things like that. We want to expand the brand. As I know it's a studio, but it's a brand, really. That's what it's meant to be. And we're working at the moment to like compile daily content for Instagram and stuff like that. Getting it all ready so like we can schedule it all, and just finding ways to grow within the music and support the music scene in Leeds. Which is good. And like you say, group sessions, songwriting circles, community vibe kind of things, getting people involved, working with charities, youth music leads, getting people down, getting creative and stuff like that.
Yeah, and it's just like sharing the same goal and vision with other people and getting as many people to come on and enjoy it with you. And like I said, I remember you mentioning the songwriting sessions that you were doing, and was it just like a really chilled out session once a week where a few people turn up and maybe talk about a song they're writing with anything that they're stuck on, or basically anything that you can help with, and using the experiences and the knowledge of people around you to help propel yourself into whichever direction you want to go into.
Yeah, it's building like what we started on, really. It's people around you that are going to determine. So allowing people to surround themselves with like-minded individuals in those scenarios where they're getting creative and making memories is a good thing.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, brilliant. Well, thanks for chatting.
You're very welcome.
There is. So